Welcome to another Sims 4 build video. This one is presented by EA Game Changers. Thank you so much for making this early access video possible. Now let's go ahead and get into the episode. So today's build, I had a lot of fun doing. I wanted to make a very small cottage because that is pretty common, at least from my understanding in the UK, to have houses that aren't particularly big. Though I guess this is in the countryside, so I don't know if it makes the most sense. Country houses are usually probably a little bit bigger. But anyway, all that aside, I wanted to challenge myself to make a small little cottage. And I did some Google image searches. I searched for small British cottage or something along those lines. I'll see if I can find the image that I used for inspiration and put it up on screen. And that's what I was trying to do. So it's just basically a little box. That's all it is. There's no special shapes to it. It's literally just a rectangle with 2 levels. And then I went to town on it. So this ends up being, I believe, a 2-bedroom house, which I am actually surprised by that it worked. And I did actually playtest all of this. So once you see it all come together, surprisingly, it all works and everything functions, which is pretty impressive. I was pretty stoked about that. So I've got this little chimney on the side, and chimneys often have, the smaller stack at the top, gets a little bit wider at the bottom where the actual fireplace is. So I was trying to recreate that here by using a little roof section, which you'll see I'll put over that flat bit in a second. And it sort of all comes together to make a chimney that looks hopefully a little bit more realistic. I also apparently spent a long time trying to use the bricks here because it turns out there's actually no matching bricks to that chimney asset, which is a real shame. I don't know why they decided to use a brick texture on that new chimney that doesn't match any that we have in the game. I don't know. If I were to guess, I would say that brick texture is probably in another expansion pack or another pack, which is a shame because I couldn't get it to match at all. So here I was just seeing if maybe a diagonal version of the house would work because I thought it would be cool to have it sit at the back of the lot somewhere. Turns out it wasn't such a good idea in the end because it just doesn't look as good. You can see how big the chimney becomes. The house looks a lot bigger, and if I make it 1 tile smaller, like in any direction, it became way too small. So it just does not look as good when it's diagonal. And you can see if I make it smaller, then again, doesn't look as good. I thought maybe I could get it to work, but the diagonal was just, and also I was really not looking forward to doing the interior because I thought about it and I was like, well, okay, the diagonal exterior is one thing, but moving inside, trying to put stairs into that, yeah, no, not gonna work. So I tossed that and I stuck to the house just regular. Put it over to the side because I thought putting it on the side of the lot was better so we could have a bigger garden in front of it and have a nice little pathway leading up to it. Again, inspired by that original image, which, like I said, I'll see if I can try and find that one so you can see what I'm sort of pulling from for inspiration. So I'm using the new terrain paint, which I really don't understand it. It's kind of bizarre. It's got these stepping stones with really, really vibrant flowers in between it. And I don't know how you're supposed to use it other than spamming a bunch of hedges along the edge so it sort of blends in. Because if it just fades away on the edge of it, it looks weird because you have a stepping stone fading into grass and flowers that just kind of stop. Also, I feel like flowers in between stepping stones, wouldn't they just get killed because people are walking on it all the time? I don't know. Maybe that's a thing, but to me, it's kind of... Anyway, I decided to use it because it was the new terrain paint, and I just put a lot of hedges along the edge of the path, and I think that worked. Like, I think it looks pretty good in the end. I just do find it a little bit of a strange one that I was a little unsure of, but that's okay. So I'm just moving, actually, all these plants to the other side because I realized that I probably want to use the other side of the path to open up to the garden because this little section at the front of the house on the right wasn't really used for anything. I believe I put like the outdoor bin there in the end, and that's kind of all that sort of sits there. But this house ends up having a nice little chicken coop, some vegetable plots or the oversized crop plots, and then just like a nice little garden, and that's kind of it. I just try to make it look really lush and really green. It's kind of nestled into this little forest nook, so I did want a fence around this house, but I didn't want it to look hopefully too harsh against the edge here, because you can see like that forest line around it does sort of almost create a nice natural fencing. So I tried to make it look okay in the area. It's a little funny where it sits, but it is what it is. So here is the floor plan of the house. It's pretty complicated. So we have little stairs in the front. I decided to keep just a straight shot stair because that seemed to, take up less room in the width because it's a pretty small house, as you can see. So the more, if I took up more width, I don't think that'd be very beneficial for us. So I try to just have as much stuff as possible in this space. And we do actually fit in the kitchen, the living room, 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms, because I feel like it's pretty common in these little British cottages or in British homes in general, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe it's a completely wrong assumption, but there seems to be a lot of WCs or wash closets, which are just the toilet and a sink. So I actually did fit one just behind the staircase. It's a 1x2 bathroom that is completely functional with toilet and sink. So I think that I was pretty stoked about that it even worked. To be honest, I didn't think that it was going to. So I actually put the door in the middle of the 1x2 and then have the toilet there, the sink on the left, and I did play test it. It does work. I was pretty stoked about that because I thought that was like a perfect use of that space, and it seemed like something that would actually be there. Now, just doing the sort of, all the wallpapers, I wanted to, well, also, plan out where everything was going to fit in, how this kitchen was going to work. So obviously, a very small kitchen, maybe kind of, it might even be too big, to be honest, for this size of house. I think it works though. It fully works. You got the fridge, the sink, and the stove. The sink is probably too big for what it is, but that's okay. I think something that would be nice to add to all of these sort of builds that I'm doing in this world would be the laundry sets, because that is typically found in the kitchen area. Not always, but I think in these older homes definitely seems to be the case. At least what I have noticed is you typically have like a washing machine in the kitchen somewhere, or adjacent to the kitchen, not necessarily directly in it. It kind of depends. And then we have this little dining nook, which I really liked because it's I don't know, it's so like cozy. Maybe it's a little cramped. You obviously can't access the 2 chairs at the back, not accessible. But the 2 at the front, nearest the fireplace, are fully functional. They work. The other 2 are just decorations, because if I only did 2 dining chairs, I don't think it would have looked as good. Yeah, and now just going through, adding a bunch of clutter. I really wanted it to feel like, because it's quite small, there should be a lot of stuff, all over the place. So we've got all these little flowers and pots and teapots and all that kind of stuff. Little mugs as well. Now moving into the living room, maybe? I guess I'm just doing all the wallpaper first. Getting the lights in as well. Oh, that mirror. I did a little bucket in there as well. There's decorations in the bathroom as well, even. Look at that. Isn't that great? So living room, I decided we'd get the big couch in. I don't know. That couch would be really hard to get into that room. Because if you look at where the front door is and then the door to the living room, I don't know. You'd have to pivot the couch. You go in the door, sort of push it halfway up the stairs and pivot the couch and then go into the living room. It wouldn't be easy. But it's in there. But it's definitely in there. And so the living room, again, I wanted to try and get as much in as we could. So we actually have the couch, the TV. We've got a little desk with a computer. And I also put the little new bookcase item, so you can, do reading, store books. We've got a little basket with a couple of cushions and a blanket in it. And then I actually left the space above the TV blank because there wasn't really any pictures I wanted to put there. And I wasn't quite sure what to do. So I figured I might be able to add something in with another pack. I figured there might be something that fits a little bit better later on. But yeah, behind the couch, I think I do, just a nice countryside sort of painting. I thought that looked quite good. But I couldn't find something as nice to put above the little TV there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the downstairs, little hat rack. I think I love this. I love this little build so much. I think it's so cozy. It's quite small and pokey, but I think that's exactly what it should be. And I was so keen on it. So the upstairs bathroom is using the shower and tub combo, because I figured that would be pretty useful to have the bathtub up there as well. And then it's just a little, toilet and a sink area, which trying to figure out a position for it was a little difficult because that window was kind of in the way. I wanted a mirror. Ended up just removing the window. Seemed to work, the best way possible. And then just a few little recolors of the kind of stuff there and some clutter items. Moving into the bedrooms now, we have one larger bedroom, which is pretty big. And then we have one 3x3 room here, which is just a single room. Would be, I guess, a nice little single bedroom, which is what I dressed it up as. Could also be a good bunk bedroom. You could get a lot of Sims in this house if you wanted. Now, the problem with only having cottage living and base game is there was no bedside tables to put next to my bed because this is only a 3-tile wide room. All the side tables in base game and cottage living are too big. Like the ones from Dream Home Decorator, those small little ones with the drawers would fit perfectly in there. So, I think there's some other ones as well from a few other packs that would fit really nicely, but no bedside tables because I couldn't fit them in this small room. But I tried to dress up the rest of it as much as I could. I was potentially going to do a bunk bed or a loft bed, but it kind of covered up all the windows, which I didn't end up wanting to do. Also, there's this weird little 1x1 cutout on the side there above the stairs. It didn't really work, to be honest. It made furnishing the room a lot more difficult, so I just got rid of it and actually moved the wall clock a little further back above the stairs. So, but if you needed to expand, you could expand the room by 1 tile that way. So you could. There's also 1 tile just in the chimney there. You can kind of get glimpses of it. So you could expand 1 tile either way there if you wanted to make the room 2 tiles bigger. But it kind of made it more difficult to furnish, so I actually just got rid of it in the end. Yeah, just a single bedroom for a kid, a teen, whoever. And that's pretty much the inside now. Just got to do the garden, the decorations. I'm getting plenty of ivy on this house. It's supposed to be like a nice little cottage in the sort of foresty area. So lots of bushes and ferns and shrubs and ivy, flowers, all that kind of good stuff. I just wanted this place to feel really lush and like a little cozy cottage, as the name implies. Yeah, then so the garden, like I said earlier, is going to have a chicken coop and some of the vegetable plots or the oversized crop plots. So you can do, the new gardening and raise chickens here and all that kind of stuff. No animal shed though, because that thing is pretty big. And this is only a 20x30 plot, so I feel like that would probably be too big. But if you wanted to add it, you could. I mean, I end up using this, not this house, but this 20x30 plot in my Let's Play, and I actually end up using an animal shed on it too. It's all kind of squished in. So if you don't mind things being squished in, go for it. It'll be good. So yeah, there's a little chicken coop here, just a nice little section. And just do a mixture of the wooden fence, the stone fence, and actually the hedge fence behind it too. 3 different fences there. I actually also decided to make that wooden fence look maybe a little bit more secure for the chickens by putting shrubs and flowers and stuff in front of it. I don't know. It just seems like it's so open underneath that like a chicken could just walk out, a fox could just walk in, even though that they don't, because that's just not how fences in the game work. It just looks a little silly. And of course, lots of beautiful terrain painting to make it look much more used, like a sim was walking there, like the chickens have destroyed all the land, all that kind of stuff. And there's a little bit more decoration around our pathway there. Oh yeah, I added in that hedge archway. I love that. I thought that was like the perfect spot for it too. Nice little bench so you can just come sit in your garden and enjoy the afternoon and the sunlight. Sit there listening to the chickens. Be a lovely little section. I was going to add in sunflowers and then I decided it looked dumb. Because I guess for sunflowers to be somewhat realistic, they have to face the sun. So the way that they had to be rotated, I was like, this looks kind of stupid. So I ended up getting rid of that, but that's all right. So yeah, over here is just pretty much like a grass area. So just nice back garden. And then I have a little sort of hedge fancy line here. And then actually add in a crop section just on the other side of this. So you'll see that come together in just a second here. So I use that as like a little stone fence, do the gate. So it's like a nice gate that opens out to the rear sort of foresty area. So it's kind of like I said, I did do like a fence around this plot, but I tried to make it look a little bit more natural. So it's almost like there as a way to maybe keep the kids within a safe area or something, so they don't go wandering off, outside of the gates, or maybe the pets or something, keep them in that area. I didn't want a harsh fence just lining the lot though, because I thought that might look a little silly. Yeah, we have a small little veggie patch here, just only the 3 plots. Also fenced in, I guess, to keep native wildlife out. I don't think that any of the foxes or rabbits ruin crops. I know you can have rabbits help the crops. You can actually have rabbits automatically like weed your crops for you. So there is that. I don't know if they can ruin it though. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, just a little veggie patch there. And that's pretty much the build, just doing a little bit of terrain painting. But let's go ahead and jump into the final tour so we can see how it all came together and get a better and a closer look at everything. All right, so here we are in the game now, so we can get a closer look at everything. I really enjoyed building this lot. I had so much fun building such a small house in The Sims and actually making it all functional. It is all fully play tested and it all works. And I think that's one of the most exciting things. We've got this like really nice garden pathway that sort of follows around to the house. And before we go inside, you can see through the archway, we've got the chicken coop over here. Nice little bench to sit there. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys actually have your Sims just sit on a bench and do stuff. I don't know. I thought it looks nice though, so it's there. Also, I got a bin next to the chicken coop because now that I've actually had a chance to play the game, I know that, you know, cleaning out the coop, it's handy to have a bin near it. So I've put that down there so it's easy to use. And around this side, you can head out the back or you can go through to the little veggie patch sort of section that I've got around there. And then that's kind of the outside, other than, you know, a lot of flowers and bushes. I want it to look really green. It would have been nice if I could, you know, have the lot closer to the sort of forest line, but it is what it is. I mean, it means you could put this on any 20 by 30 and it should hopefully look pretty good. Yeah, the little house is a 2-story cottage with lots of wisteria and ivy growing up. But I really like doing this with the chimneys because you see a lot of the chimney designs like this because obviously you have the bigger base and then it's a bit thinner as it goes up. So I just use a little bit of the roof to do that. I think that turned out pretty well. The little kitchen windows around the back are so funny. It does look a little funny from the back, I will admit. But to be honest, you're probably going to be looking at it from this direction. So I think it's more than fine. Now, going inside, I do really adore this house. I think it is so cute. Like it is tiny in terms of Sims builds. But it all is fully functional. This kitchen can be completely used. You got the fridge, sink, stove. Now, you will note there is no bin inside. There's no room. I mean, I guess I could put it there, but it seemed a bit odd shoving it in front of the fireplace. So instead, there's the outdoor bin. You'll kind of just have to go there. So sorry, but it is what it is. Now, I mean, it's also probably quite clear that you can't sit in these seats. I mean, if it's not clear, I'll show you. You can sit in these two right here. You know what? Let's see. If I say go here. No, I don't think you can. No, yeah, I figured not. They're mostly just decorative back there because if I just did 2 seats, it wouldn't look as good. So it's kind of got the 4 all there, but obviously the 2 front ones are actually functional and you can use those. And then we got the little sitting room here. I didn't really know what to put here. I think when I have all the expansion packs and all the other packs, there's probably a nice painting that can go up there. But right now, I didn't really have anything to put there. I've got the nice little landscape picture behind, little desk, and this for the bookcase as well, so you can actually do some reading and all that kind of stuff. And the little WC in here, which I think is so cute. And when I originally tested, it did work, but I have actually put more decorative things in here now, so I'm just going to double check right here before your eyes. There you go. And wash your hands, and look at that. I think that's great. That's so good. The little 1x2 bathroom. Perfect. Moving upstairs, we've got the double bedroom right here, which is nice, quite big. We've got the, you know, the family portraits. You got Jerry, and Jerry, all spelt different ways, obviously. There they are. A little vanity, the mirror, and I don't know, a little sideboard kind of thing. And across the landing, we have the family bathroom with the toilet, shower tub combo, and then a little single bedroom in there as well. Did originally, as you saw, have that 1x1 space there. Didn't know what to do with it. It was kind of actually more trouble trying to use it than just cutting it off. So we've got a 3x3 room there. There's also actually technically another 1x1 tile you could use there if you wanted. But again, I didn't really know what to do with those spaces, so it's kind of easier just not to do anything. And that's the inside. That is the house. That's pretty much it. I think it's a really nice little mid-game home because it's about, what, 40,000 simoleons, I think, so it's not quite a starter. But, you know, when you get into the game a little bit, this will be a nice one to move on with, especially if you have a child, like one child, a couple of Sims or a single Sim, and have the 2 little bedrooms. I think it is, personally, I find it really fun to play with small homes. I know some of you guys don't like the cramped gameplay, but I kind of think it really fits in this pack and this context. So this one I'm super proud of, and this was so much fun to build. And again, if you want to download this, obviously it's not available right now because the expansion pack is not out yet. But when it is out, I will upload this to my gallery page, which is this name here, James Turner Y. Oh, it's down there. James Turner YT. That's my Origin username. You'll be able to find it there. And if I forget to upload it when the game comes out, please remind me and I will chuck it up as soon as possible. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave your comments, suggestions, and feedback down below. I'll see you next time and have an awesome day.